From the Schaefer Sports Hall of Fame inside the Carson Student Athlete Center, it's time for Sun Devil Extra, presented by Spring Hill Suites, Phoenix, Scottsdale. Braden Bell alongside Arizona State Athletic Director Graham Rossini. It's been a couple weeks, Graham. How you been, man?
Staying busy. Yeah, fun time of year. March, we're in championship season, national championship season, heart of Big 12, so just on the go, but lots of good things going on.
Busy, 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 and I think you mentioned championship season for a reason. Let's talk about ASU hockey. They clearly have to lead the show based on what went down at Mullet over the weekend and their run now through the NCHC tournament. Heading to St. Paul this weekend, of course, for the biggest stage in the program's history. I feel like I've said that like 8 times throughout the year for this program. It's just been one of those magical runs, but boy, what a series sweeping Minnesota Duluth over the weekend.
It was everything we dreamed playoff hockey in the desert and Mullet Arena would be like, and couldn't be more prouder of the fight. Friday night's game was a great atmosphere. Fan base was unbelievable. The whiteout was a nice nod to the Coyotes and some Valley playoff traditions. Didn't play our best hockey, right? But did enough to win the game. And Coach had a very serious message for the team after the game. It's like, hey, if we play like that, our season's coming to an end. Like, we're not going to advance in playoff hockey, doing just enough to get by. And so it was, a little dicey out the gate Saturday, but they found it in the second period. 3 goals in a matter of 5 minutes. And never looked back. And just the intensity of those games, like playoff in any sport is going to be intense, you know that. But with what's on the line, if you're playing for a tournament bid, you're playing for a chance to get to the Frozen Faceoff, final year that it's going to be in St. Paul at the Xcel Energy Center, a lot riding on it, in addition to just continuing to build the profile of Sun Devil hockey as a national program. But all's well that ends well, 2 incredible wins. Overtime winner. Just couldn't ask for a better script there, and fan base going nuts. A lot of people said it's the best atmosphere they've ever experienced in Mullet. Mullet's very well known for incredible game day experience, and the hockey fan base has been amazing. And we just keep ratcheting it up every single time. And I agree, we've had a number of those moments this year where we talked about the most significant series in program history, and we get to continue that for hopefully a few more weeks coming forward.
Yeah, you mentioned that overtime winner. I think out of all sports, the most euphoric game winner you can have is in hockey, just because it can happen at any moment. There's no countdown, and then Ryan Kerwin scores his 25th goal just like that, and everyone explodes. I mean, you were there, obviously, in that moment. What was it like in that building?
I've watched the replay 20 times now, and I still can't figure out the angle that he made the shot, and how do you pull that off?
Right.
Sean's going to put a clip up there. We'll go to replay, and how he's behind the net, backhand on that angle to get the goal in was pretty amazing. But I don't remember. I remember the siren going off, and I remember running to get down the locker room as fast as possible. Scott Nelson was next door, and we're just flying down the stairwell. Security's trying to stop us, but we wanted to get down there to see the reaction of the guys coming off the ice. Kenny was already down there, no surprise. He's everywhere, and it was pretty cool to see Coach Dillingham high-fiving the guys, giving Coach Powers a big bear hug. That was a neat moment. And just an unbelievable ending, and all the drama, but all the excitement, and we're moving on to St. Paul this weekend.
Yeah, and you mentioned how Coach Powers was disappointed after Friday night. He said after the game he was just as proud of his group after Saturday, and for good reason, to come back from an early 3-0 deficit. Okay, so it's off to St. Paul, like you said, off to the Xcel Center, where a rematch with Denver lays in the wings, and it almost seems fitting. 4 games between these two teams now on the year. Of course, the sweep the Sun Devils had in November on the road against DU, and then an excellent series at Mullet Arena, kind of the rubber match, if you will, with all the marbles out there for both programs.
And defending national champs, by the way. And so I think the nice thing is, with the 3 remaining teams in our conference, North Dakota, Denver, and Western Michigan, we've beaten all 3 of them. And so the guys are going in with high belief that we can compete at a top level. Getting in a Saturday is going to be really important for our tournament resume. Winning solidifies that. So there's a lot riding on that game Friday night. We know Denver very well. We've played them tough all season long. They're playing some of their best hockey of the year right now, as are we. And so, that's what you want. You want marquee matchups at this time of the year, and we'll leave it on the ice and see what happens. But I know this. I know that they're coming into St. Paul ready, prepared, focused, and not afraid of the competition, ready to play Sun Devil hockey.
Puck will drop at 2 p.m. against Denver on Friday. Sun Devil Radio Network is where you can catch that, as always. And certainly it will be a lot of fun to follow the action. Hopefully a long weekend up in the Great Lakes area, so Twin Cities area, I should say. So it should be a lot of fun to monitor that as the weekend goes on. Okay, so from hockey to baseball, and you want to talk about an offensive explosion, you got to talk about Sun Devil baseball and what they did over the weekend against TCU. How about 26 runs on Saturday after a tough, narrow loss in the first game of the series? 26 runs on Saturday. Double-digit runs again on Sunday and a squeaker against the Horned Frogs. And so Sun Devil baseball and Willie Bloomquist start 2-1 in Big 12 play. And to do that against a program like TCU, it's pretty substantial.
Yeah, I mean, TCU's been a fixture in Omaha the last decade, and to get welcome to the Big 12 right out the gate with a team that started the year in the top 25, really well coached with Kirk Sarlos, who Willie played against in the big leagues, and Kirk was actually on some of the great Cal State Fullerton teams that we competed against back in the day, and he's done a great job at TCU since he took over the program. Was a longtime assistant there, but yeah, really, really proud. We had a good group going out to Fort Worth with baseball. It was the annual donor trip, so a lot of the great supporters for the baseball program were on that trip, and Friday night was a nail biter, 1-run game. Really crisp Friday night baseball. Both starting pitchers were excellent. Just a run away, and then to come back Saturday and just answer the bell, knowing that hey, we need to split the, need to even out the series on Saturday, get yourself in a position to win it and get back home for 4 home games this week. But I looked at the score mid-game, and fourth inning we're up 20-0. Did a double take. Was like, maybe the app's off. I'm gonna get on the website to double check it, and sure enough, really strong showing out the gate. And I think it woke up some bats. It got some guys some playing time that otherwise probably weren't going to see the field over the weekend, and it just set a good tone going into Sunday, where it got a little dicey at the end. I think we went into the 9th up very comfortably and skirted out of there with a 12-11 win. But a win's a win, and Sunday college baseball can be dramatic in the ways that we continue to experience. But we got out of there with a series, and it really sets us up nicely going into the home weekend against Kansas.
Yeah, so it is Kansas at home. Glad you brought that up. Friday through Sunday here at Muni, the Big 12 opener for the Devils, so be sure to be out there. It's a very busy weekend, of course, but one of the places you can be to watch Sun Devil athletics this weekend. Wanted to shout out Brody Briggs as well. How about stepping into the spotlight? His first career collegiate home run comes in the 5th inning against TCU on Sunday. Then he says, okay, once was nice, but twice will be even better. A grand slam to break the game open in the 8th and proved to be the game-winning hit, because you said TCU rallied in the bottom of the 9th.
Yeah, that was good insurance runs, and I was watching with my 6-year-old, and he said, why are the TCU fans cheering for the grand slam? And we watched that replay a lot where they were trying to verify the fair call on the grand slam, but there were a lot of kids out there, I think, just excited to get a baseball. Maybe didn't realize what was at stake, but Brody is somebody that we're very excited about. He had a really good summer up in the Alaska League, learned last year from Ryan Campos and had the benefit of being an understudy there. Him and Josiah really kind of platooning behind the dish so far. Josiah's bat you got to have in there. He's been such a force at the plate. And then Brody really getting some more playing time, and just every time he's in there, he's answering the bell. It seems like he's had big hits in all of his starts. 2 home runs, his first 2 in college baseball, as you mentioned, for a series clinching win on the road. That was huge for him, and he's got enormous upside. Like he's a kid that came in the program and just was willing to be a sponge, to take it in, to learn. I know he and Campos still have a relationship, so it's been fun that they're still connected, and he's learning the game at the highest level, but able to contribute in meaningful ways, and that ended up being the difference in a big game. Yeah,
good start to conference play to win 2 of 3 at TCU, and as we said, Kansas at home over the weekend at Phoenix Muni. Now over to softball. Speaking of massive home weekends, how about Arizona coming into town this weekend? But we'll look back at what they did over the weekend on the road, thousands of miles away at UCF, winning 2 of 3 against the Golden Knights. And boy, Kenzie Brown just proves to be maybe the most dominant athlete on campus. I don't think that's crazy to say based on her start to the year. An 0.89 ERA so far, 115 Ks in 70 innings. Those numbers are absurd.
Yeah, Kenzie sets the tone for the weekend, and knowing that you got her on Fridays and Sundays is reassuring. And UCF's a great softball program. I think that's one of the really established programs in the Big 12 that we knew would be a force to be reckoned with. I text Coach Bartlett, every night after they play, like, I love watching this team play. This is just a very fun team to watch compete, and it's a good mixture of veteran presence. We've talked about Tanya, we've talked about Kelsey, we've talked about Kenzie, and the veteran presence that those 3 and others bring. Yaya as well, now that she's back in the lineup, and then this really talented group of freshmen that just are performing at a high level. And Tara was in high school in December, and here she is in the mix, getting big hit after big hit, big play after big play. In this kind of core of young elite talent, veteran presence, also on the elite level. I think we matched last year's win total on Sunday, or maybe we're a win away at this point. really an electric team to watch. So again, U of A here this weekend
Yeah.
At Club Farrington, no better place to be if you're into college softball. This team is exciting, they're performing, they're really representing us very well, and hard place to win. And I was watching the broadcast Sunday morning, and they're talking about it's 85 degrees, it's gusty winds, there's storms coming in, and they shut the door on UCF, got out of there with the series, and really out the gate, 4-2 in the Big 12, sets this up nicely. Those are two of the best programs that we're going to run into. So very excited with how softball's got off the gate as baseball, and it sets us up for a very fun remaining of the spring.
Yeah, you're going to see a ranked matchup this weekend as well. ASU now into the top 25, 23rd in the polls, and of course U of A 10th. So it's kind of that proven matchup, if you will. ASU still has some skeptics. I mean, let's be real, around the Big 12, it's a chance to really make a statement against U of A.
Yeah, and you look across the department, we track rankings every week. 13 of our 26 now that softball have cracked in there are ranked in the top 25. We have 7 in the top 10 if you include football and triathlon and what they did in the fall. I think wrestling and beach are at 11.
Yeah.
So, you've got 2 knocking on the door that would put 9 in the top 10. Half of our sports ranked in the top 25. Baseball is going to be knocking on the door. Outdoor track season's getting going here pretty soon. Great time to be a Sun Devil.
It's a great
time. Just keep pushing the limits, and hockey competing for another conference title this weekend. We've got women's swimming in Federal Way for the national champions.
Right.
Wrestling in Philadelphia this weekend. Men's swimming next weekend. So, March has been a blast because we're competing at the highest level and we're performing. And just again, I can't thank our fan base enough for the support and the energy around all of our programs. Our coaches are pushing one another, our athletes are collaborating, and it's a really fun thing to be a part of right now.
Jalen Strong tweeted out yesterday or the day before, I think it was just like, he's never been more proud to be a Sun Devil because it is that family aspect.
That's
Whether
cool.
we're winning or losing, it is like throughout the athletic department, coaches supporting other coaches. He thinks that's extremely rare, and it is, and it's something that seems to be contagious throughout the entire athletic department.
And
as well.
I'm more proud of how we compete than the wins and losses. I think that's the part that I take away is we're not going to win every game. That's not realistic, but there's a grit and an edge on how we're competing, and even these sports that are back and forth, like we're in every game that we play for the most part, and it takes an intensity, a connectedness between coaches and athletes in order to do that. But even when we lose, we're hearing a lot from the other teams like, "Oh, you guys are tough to play," and whatever sport that is. And I think that's a credit to what it's like to be a Sun Devil, the style of play that we compete in, and the fact that we may not be easy outs. You may get us at the end of the game, but we're not going to be an easy foe to go up against.
A lot of buzz.
And that matters.
Yeah, and there's a lot of buzz right now, and I think it's percolating throughout every single program. So a lot of success we've talked about. Fan base wants to know about the women's basketball coaching search as well. So kind of where you're at in that process and what we're looking for in terms of a candidate to lead the women's basketball program.
Yeah, never like to have to make those decisions of making a coaching change. We've got people that come in here and they put their heart and soul into the work, and we just weren't seeing the results in women's basketball and made that decision to make a change as the season wrapped up a few weeks ago. What's been encouraging in the process is that there's a lot of interest in the job. There's a lot of people that have come forward to put their name in the hat, feel like they can be successful here, and it just signals to me that we are a destination. You've got sitting head coaches across a number of conferences. You've got people through all levels of the game of women's basketball that say, like, I want a chance to interview. I can be successful at ASU. And these are coaches that have options all over the nation. And so we've been blessed with a plethora of options. We're working our way through our process. Hard to put a time frame on it, but we want to, it's more important to get it right than it is to get it done. We're mindful that the portal's coming open. We're mindful that there's a lot of activity in the sport. We're also looking for somebody who can lead this program for the next several decades, much like Charlie Turner-Thorne had great success in her 26 years here. So, trying to be very methodical and strategic in our process, and it's more important to get it right than get it done. But again, I will say it's been really exciting to see the quality of candidate that's coming forward. We've got a search going on. We've got a number of people that are suggesting names or people that are reaching out, but then the number of people are saying, I can be successful at ASU. I see what's going on there. I want to be a part of it. And I think back to a lot of our most successful head coaches that were that same way. Kenny comes to mind, JJ Van Deel in volleyball, that were just persistent in their pursuit of becoming a Sun Devil because they knew the environment by competing against us. They understood what we're capable of, and they know that they may be the final touch to really get our programs humming at a high level. So I'm very excited and can't wait to get through the process and get a great leader in the program and continue to accelerate our trajectory in women's basketball, much like we're seeing in other sports.
Right. You mentioned longevity. Any other main things you're looking for in terms of candidates, what they can bring to the table?
I mean, we've got a wish list, right?
Yeah,
and we've got a profile. We've got the things that we value. I like somebody who's a proven winner. I like somebody who's had success at a variety of levels. I like somebody who's in it right now that can help navigate transfer portal and settlement that's coming here in a couple of weeks, and just being tuned in to the day-to-day world that we're all living in. Very complicated time, very different than it would have been even a short few years ago. So. Hey, maybe that's not realistic. Maybe we're not going to find somebody that fits that entire profile set, but we're trying to find somebody who can do enough of what we know we need moving forward, and we won't stop until we find that person.
Perfect.
Yep.
Last thing before we let you go in segment number 1, it is Back Your Devils Week, and we're going to have Vince Volpe joining us from the Sun Devil Club in just a few moments, and he'll give us the details and nitty-gritty of what that week means and what you can do as a fan at home to help out with the athletic department. But from the desk of the AD, I mean, what can you say about Back Your Devils Week and what it does mean to this athletic department?
Is he going to bring a gear tease? Is that part of it?
Word on the streets
is we got State 48 and Branded Bills kind of in the mix.
I'm sure we'll talk about those.
Okay.
I hope he brings something. I'm not sure if he will or not, but.
Yeah, this has been a fun promotion. We had great success with the relaunch of it last year, and chances for really people to step up in support of their favorite sport or their favorite cause within the department, scholarship endowments, facility improvements, sports-specific accounts, and some of the matching funds that become available, or some of the other people that will end up supporting it in return. And again, like stoking that healthy competitive fire of the real-time dashboard of what sport's making which money, and people reaching out to their network, putting a little friendly peer pressure on people to give and support, and you give what you can, and that's the most important part. But it's all in support of young people. I continue to just remind all of ourselves that whatever we bring in the department, we're reinvesting in the young people. We want to win. We want to represent ASU. We want to be a great point of pride for our fan base. At the end of the day, we're still a talent development organization. We're here to develop young people through the work that we do, and so I just think it's a very noble, altruistic thing to support when you donate to the Sun Devil Club, because we're putting those dollars immediate to work, giving these young people all the tools that they need to be successful now, but more importantly, prepare for life after playing, life after graduation, making sure that we hire and retain the best coaches possible. These are the people that are leading them day in and day out. And so it all matters, and our fan base continues to step up in incredible ways, and just thankful for the support and consideration people are going to give Back Your Devils Week.
As you mentioned, it is all encompassing. It really does affect every single part of Sun Devil Athletics. We'll hear more from Vince Volpe when we come back about Back Your Devils Week.